What's happening here? A lot of people are thinking the movies that are just laced with profanity and sex and then laden with Hollywood's Harvey Weinstein, his sex scandal and all that broke out in Hollywood. And they think some of that stuff is really rolling over on how people view these movie stars or the political takes that these people have in public. Tom Cruise, kind of a nut job, if you ask me, the way that he's treated his girlfriends or wives, and they turn 33 and they get a mind of their own, where they're not sucked into Scientology. He writes them off and treats just bizarre behavior off the screen. You know, I wonder about some actors, seriously. That's all they do is act, and that's what they do for a career. But I wonder if they get stuck in some of these characters and they forget who they are because they play so many characters. I wonder if it messes with their brains or something. I think it's Hollywood. I think it's the industry. It's just because it's not based in reality. They make their own reality. Like Weinstein said many years ago that Hollywood's the bellwether. In other words, it starts here, and this is the guiding force behind everything. It starts in Hollywood, and we control everything. They can't control the box office. A lot of people are just not going to the movies. They're not wanting to see the movies anymore. And I have some theories on that, and I do believe that the sexual scandals, a lot of the backlash from celebrities being outspoken, too outspoken about political issues like sports figures. I think that's have had a really good effect. But the other thing is electronically, there's people that can watch these movies for free. There's sticks that are available that you can plug into the back of your TV, and you can get these movies before they actually go to the movie theater. Not great quality, but then after it gets to the movie theater, you can actually watch it in great quality, and you just pay one fee, maybe a couple $100. They're for sale. I haven't bought one. I buy my movies through Apple TV or Redbox, and I pay because I believe that, you know, if a star is getting paid for it, the least I can do is pay for a genuine copy of it. I'm all for the artist getting paid, and the producers and the movie theater, whatever. But there's a lot of theft that's going on, a lot of it. And if you get busted for it, if you get caught, there's going to have to definitely be a cracking down on a lot of people who buy these devices. But it's rampant. Piracy. It's on the rise. And I believe that a lot of folks have these devices that are ripping the industry off. And I think it's a huge threat for Hollywood and for stars that are in the industry. And that's my theory there. The other thing is originality. It's really hard to find something new, something good, something wholesome. And it seems like the wholesome movies that have Christian values, have values, that are not showing, you know, people doing drugs and sleeping and carousing and partying. It seems like the Christian-based films are doing better than most films. Tom Cruise used to be a big deal. Top Gun's gone. He's been in some other movies that were good. What is the Missing in Action? What is the movie? I don't know. He's some kind of spy. You know which one I'm talking about. Good movies. I like Cruise when it comes to some of his action films. I did like The War of the Worlds. That was a fun movie, redone with Cruise. That was out several years ago, like 2013 or something like that. Fun movie. But when was the last time you actually went to the movie theater to see something on the big screen? When was the last time? I mean, if you're going to see a movie, that's still the signature is, if you don't have a huge home theater at home, to see the film actually displayed on a gigantic screen and with great sound quality, it's still recommended that you do, because you really don't get the full movement of the film, or the full picture, if you will, literally, the way that they shoot these movies. The movie theater is terrific. But interesting that all of these have flopped. And there's been a lot of stuff that's been happening around the world. People have been sending donations in to help out with the poor folks in Houston, the folks in the islands in Puerto Rico. Been donating a lot of money, a lot of their time, and tithing above and beyond to churches. I think that might have something to do with it as well. It's been a tough year, 2017. Maybe people are holding back on their spending and staying more towards home. Maybe people sense that they need to do these particular things. And Hollywood needs to probably take note of this. And that's my talking points here. Now, school did something that I think is in really bad taste, just given the climate of where our country is at with race and, with the statues that are coming out, the Civil War and the Confederate symbols and et cetera. And an Ohio middle school is under fire after students sang a song about, of all things, picking cotton in a school program. The school district officials said that the song was picked out of a book of American folk songs and that the students had been rehearsing the song since August. There wasn't anybody in the school that thought that might have been probably not the best of songs, just given sensitivities these days. I mean, I'm all for remembering history, but at school, I'm really shocked. And a shocked parent of a school choir concert basically had been speaking out about it and just said they were appalled that the school didn't really use more tact. The details on this: Springfield Middle School in Northwest Ohio, featuring the song Cotton Needs Picking. They went ahead and they gave it as a part of their 8th grade fall chorus presentation. A parent, Nicole Molesby, shared the video of the performance on Facebook, according to the Toledo Blade. Molesby, who is Cuban, told the newspaper that her husband, Alonzo, who is black, left the auditorium during the song. Molesby added that an African-American woman in the audience mouthed, "Oh my God," to her when the students began the song. And Molesby and the others who commented on her Facebook post said that the song was a racist hate tip to slaves working in the South. So most speaking out against the issue claimed that the song's choice was made in poor taste after a recent school controversy involving the Confederate flag and racial epithets. Yeah, that wasn't a smart move. Geez, come on, folks. Pick your songs appropriately. It's offensive. It's offensive. Let's just say that. We need to get away with these things openly doing it. You could have picked a better song to sing at a public school. And wow, and that's not left, that's not right. That's just common sense. Nobody wants to be singing joyfully about picking cotton in a cotton field. And I've picked cotton, by the way, and there's nothing fun about it. And I could just imagine how it would have been for slaves to be able to do that in the hot sun. Well, there's still cotton farms. I went out and just went into a cotton field and I picked some cotton. And you got to be careful when you're picking it because you obviously get pricked. We have a lot of cotton fields still in our country. And people still, machines pick it, don't they? Yeah, I think it's a lot easier. Disrespectful. And I could see why, obviously, the husband was offended by it. And I'm sure the choir, I'm sure they rehearsed since August. I'm sure that they probably had it down pat. But geez, nobody heard the rehearsal. Nobody heard anything from the school. Never thought, this could upset somebody. This could be a backlash to our school. See, it's this kind of insensitivity that fires up the minority base and gives them ammo. Why give more ammo? Why play into the negative stereotypical narrative? And the answer is, sadly, and I even hate to say it, but there may have been a racial tendency there. In other words, racism, hatred towards minorities and blacks at the school system. And I would think that heads should roll because of it. It's just not a cool thing. Not funny, the least. I don't wish any more pain upon folks. But here's the kicker here on all this. Now, there are African Americans that are still alive that remember the country a different place, where they literally could not use a restroom unless it was designated for blacks. They remember riding them in the back of the bus. They remember the marches. They remember all of this stuff. And it's something that I hope to God never repeats ever again. But yes, we should have racial sensitivity. This really does upset me in the climate of everything that's going on right now with Maxine Waters and plenty on the left right now are just sparking this outrage, and then the Black Lives Matter group and Antifa, and like, really, do we actually need to set yourself up there in the community? I just could not imagine that this story is just going to die down for that one school. Somebody's going to have to be let go, either the principal or the faculty, to redone, because that's just not going to set well. I mean, the ACLU is going to go in there, and man, it's nobody thought of. I mean, it's just thoughtless. Forget about class. Somebody must have had something going on that said, that's probably not right, and just decided let's find another song here that might not be offensive for anybody. There's the Negro spirituals. Some of them are pretty nice. Some of them are really depressing. But some churches still sing Negro spirituals. But some of them are really strong faith songs where the going got tough and their faith got stronger, and they were able to move and persevere. But sung by mostly African Americans, because they were written by African Americans. And the music is just so heartfelt. If you've never been to an African American church on Sundays, wow. There's just so much energy and feeling and emotion, and the singing in some of those churches are just unbelievably awesome. But we don't need more garbage like this. And this is evil rearing its ugly head in our country. And to me, that's very sad for this community to have to go through this, have to be a conversation, a subject to conversation around the water cooler. I mean, please, somebody needs to get fired, if not all the faculty. Because everybody, if they were, since August, please, for at least a couple months. A lot of people got a good dose of that song. If that was the song and that they were going to present to the parents, come on, folks. Give me a break. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson was saying this past Sunday that it was time for Iranian-backed militias and their Iranian advisors who helped Iraq defeat Islamic State to go home. After a rare joint meeting with the leaders of Iraq and Saudi Arabia, the United States is concerned that Iran, a Shiite regional power there, will take advantage of the gains against ISIS in Iraq and Syria, and to expand the influence if gained after the U.S. invasion of 2003, something Sunni Arab rivals such as Rada also opposes. So Iranian militants that are in Iraq now that the fight against ISIS is coming